Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, our Friday show presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Download the app today. You can bet what we're betting, maybe bet your own stuff, might be a little safer. Do it responsibly, of course. They've got good sign-up promos. Bet $10. Get $50 in free bets when you sign up and bet at the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Or head on down to Dacey's Taproom and Sportsbook at Firekeepers. That's off I-94 in Battle Creek. Get the in-house sportsbook experience. Don't need to go to Vegas. You've got the casino floor, you've got the restaurants, you've got the sportsbook, all right there. Great way to spend a weekend day, or heck, 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, whenever you want to do it at Firekeepers Casino. And, of course, you can have it right at your fingertips with the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Jason, how you doing, brother?
I hate that we need to talk about this, but nonetheless, here we go. Let's discuss this. Are the Tigers going to trade Taro Skubal this offseason? Again, man, I hate that we're here. We all as Tiger fans hate that we're here, but we need to talk about this. This isn't going anywhere. Again, the biggest talking points in not just the Tigers land, but all Major League Baseball. So here we go. Let's talk about this. That's crazy.
Let's go green. Go God.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
I'm good.
And we have to talk about LeBron James.
Yeah. Philadelphia.
76ers. Huh?
You know, a line that, and some places had this in the predictive markets. I did not see it on the Firekeeper's Eye Casino and Sportsbook app, but Philly was like, 16 to 1, 10 to 1 places to have LeBron land there. If you were on that, I didn't see him winding up in Philly, and it's kind of a cool story.
Does that mean Bronny goes too?
I have no idea, but all of a sudden the 76ers are a pretty good team. I mean, I like that, Embiid or no Embiid, I like the rest of that squad a lot.
So they just tell Embiid to show up in the playoffs.
Well, you use them sparingly. Yeah, you use them when you need to during the season. Yeah, right. You play 40 games if you can during the season, but you make sure you're healthy. The problem is you also have to stay healthy in the playoffs. Like, that's a slog, 4 rounds, winning 4 games. So I still don't know if that's possible, but that's very interesting.
Isn't it interesting, though, how people are, like, sick of LeBron? It just seems like everybody I talk to, they're sick and fed up. And I feel like, and I can understand that in certain ways, but you have to give the guy credit, though. I mean, the guy's been married to the same woman since high school. He seemed to raise 3 good kids. He doesn't really have any scandals as of yet. He seems like a really good guy overall, right? Like good family guy and all that stuff. People are still...
What is remarkable is outside of the first decision, right, with Jim Gray in 2010.
Why do people give him shit about? Why? What was so bad about that?
I didn't like it. Well, it was sort of sticking in.
Yeah, you raised $5 million for the Boys and Girls Club. That's insanity.
Sticking in Cleveland's face a little. I didn't like it back then. However, and he would tell you that, but outside of that misstep, from like a PR standpoint and not, to be in the league like a quarter century and not do anything.
When you see all of the athletes, not just at basketball, but, like Tiger Woods and Mickelson and some of these other guys, especially, you can go on in the NFL, but guys in the NBA too, to not get caught up in anything in all of these years. Unless something comes out like crazy in the next 5-10 years, some book comes out, some salacious book. But I figured we would have heard all of that stuff by now.
Or he's got the world's greatest fixer.
That would be a great story, too.
Yeah.
See, I'm ready for any conspiracy theories, but it just amazes me that people are like want him out. Like, I've had enough of LeBron. Like, really?
What if his fixer was Brian Windhorst?
That would be great, too.
That would be a great story. Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
He turned his back on his fixer, though.
Yeah,
called him fat.
Yeah, it's fair. But
which was like really wild to me. Like, damn, dude. Like, we know Windy is a big, gigantic dude, but like, felt
what
if
you did that to throw people off your scent?
Or just call your best friend a fat ass?
Yeah. Now
that's what I'm doing with the intern right now.
Yeah, right.
I'm going hard at the intern.
There you go. We have some questions about that when we get to the Groovy Donut Twitter questions. Not all of them made it, actually. I was like, we're not going to spend the whole time on this, but we will get into those Groovy Donut Twitter questions. I
hate when you say that, because then someone will listen to this show and go, "Wait a minute, they talked about that, but not my question."
That's true. Everybody's got in. We have some really good questions today. A lot of MSU football, basketball, a lot of Michigan, and the coverage of that.
Scotty Green's El Camino. Sorry, you missed the show again.
No,
I feel like when Letterman bumped Norm Macdonald all those times at the end of the show.
Pretty sure he got in. I always fear. There are a few people I fear missing because I missed them a few times somehow, or the algorithm on social media doesn't pick them up for whatever, and they just disappear into the ether. Before we dig into these Groovy Donut Twitter questions and everything, as we do at the end of every week, what we are betting, presented by our friends at Firekeepers and the Firekeepers Eye Casino app. Are you betting anything this weekend, Jason, on what's a relatively dead weekend in sports other than some golf and some other things?
Buenos tardes. It is time for the Detroit Tigers Gambling Update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Nick.
I've hit quite a dead spot with the Tigers. I'm going to need some help tonight.
Okay.
Because I need a SGP. Scooble Friday night. I mean, it's perfect for it. 6:40 start.
Yeah.
Because I still have the 3M. By the way, 850 to 1. Troy Merritt tied for T3. Excuse me, I'm dying. 10 under right now. 850 to 1. Got 2 guys in the top 10 right now in the 3M. I'm going to be sweating that all weekend. But I've hit a lull with the Detroit Tigers bets. Try to do the 2 bases things with different batters. Like, want to draw me into the Tarek Skubal like strikeouts and money line. I don't like doing that because that can, if Skubal doesn't hit that strikeout mark, then your SGP's dead. I like to keep it alive. So I like to just do like 3 batters in certain categories.
So
maybe that's a bad strategy, but it seemed to work. But when we were on vacation,
I mean, the best bet is Royals plus 217. I mean, that's incredible value with Beckway on the mound. And,
all right, well, give me $100.
Yeah, I'm not. If it was a free bet, if somebody gave you some pizza money, a free $20
bet against your favorite team on Scooble Friday.
Again, I'm not saying it's fun. I'm saying if you're a degenerate or you're looking for the value in the moment is, I would not do it. I'm not betting against the Tigers right now because I'm enjoying, like Troy Melton days are fun days. I'm not going to bet against Scooble right now, but the value is in Beckway and Kansas City. So that's
I just hate this team because then I wake up this morning and everybody's all excited and buy now, come on, we need to buy, and then Framber Valdez will hit that mound and we'll give up 8 earned in the first half inning, and it's back to reality. And then we go, wow, maybe we should sell. It just sucks, but
it's not fun. I will be starting to peruse the MLS. I think this is where, I think this is where my soccer bets
World
are going to
Cup's
have to
over,
come.
man.
I have a little on Quentin Halys, a future on him in a off, ATP 250 tomorrow in the final against Tsitsipas. But so I may hedge a little on Tsitsipas. But that's a second deal. But yeah, there's some games I'm looking at. If I find something I really like, I'll tweet it. I'm behind on them. But what the World Cup did to me this summer is it basically said the MLS was off. You don't need this. I've not paid a whole lot of attention. The other problem is having a 3-month-old at home. Cora, I go to bed at 8, 9 o'clock. Most of these games start at 7:30, 8:30. I'm not able to watch them as much, so I don't. All the Mexican soccer I used to watch, that's gotten really difficult, So it's
soccer is boring.
Right, she is basically taking that out of me, so we'll have to see when that can change.
These damn kids get in the way of my MLS. Really, going to bed at 8:30, huh?
Oh man,
when it's still like light out, you have to put on the shade. Do you have to something to cover your eyes?
When you've been up since 4, you're ready. It
sounds great.
It's amazing. It is amazing. Yeah. And she goes to, but if I want to have time to myself in the morning, I get up at I let her sleep one more section of time, and I get up at 4 just so I have an hour or two.
And you have to really walk quietly.
No,
right? Doesn't your house creak and stuff?
I put her back in her best. No, it's a 100-year-old house, but it's well built.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying it's not well built, but I figured you had to keep quiet. Does she sleep soundly?
These 1922 homes in Lansing. This isn't Okemos, man.
Are you using Kid Benadryl or something to keep her sleeping an extra 30, 45 minutes?
Just a lot of prayer. That's all. No, she's great. And I'll be honest, I don't mean to, because my favorite part of every morning is the initial wake up. When you go to the bassinet and she just has this wide smile, she's happy to be awake. And then when you take her out of the swaddle and she can stretch and she's just thrilled to be awake.
Do you ever wake up, though?
Amazing. It's amazing.
Do you ever wake up and stare at the ceiling and forget for just a half second you have a kid?
No,
not
anymore. No, because I'm hearing ghosts in the morning. I hear everything I think is her making a noise. I snap into it's not. Yeah. So
cool.
There's that. It's fun. I'm not. I don't want to. It is the best.
Diaper update. You want to do a diaper one?
No, we got some questions later on.
Oh, great.
Groovy Done It Twitter questions.
Yes.
But that is what we were betting this weekend, presented by our friends at Firekeepers and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. If you haven't before, download it now. Football season's around the corner. Week 1 lines are out. Lots of stuff to look at there on the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Jason, are we ready to dig into these Groovy Donut Twitter questions?
I don't know. I see this first question, and it looks like a brick paragraph.
It's really long. And if it wasn't,
it's prefaced with long question.
If it wasn't Eric Schultz, who's a made man, he's this is it's a Godfather type situation, and he emailed it separately. This is not a way of setting a precedent.
Send this with a Google Drive.
Because that's actually the biggest problem I have with the emails that come in is people can't see the number of whatever it's called, words. What is it called? Character count. Character count.
So
in Twitter, people are limited by character counts. Some of the emails you're like, I just can't. I try and edit them down, but you're like, there's no way.
Right. Just send you 4 paragraphs of shit. Here, you edit this.
Yeah. It's okay.
All right.
So anyway,
get to that. All right, long question from Eric Schultz. Can Graham stop with this? U of M is just as bad as everyone BS. Let's review. Since Ward took over, they've been marred by scandal after scandal. Scandals with players, scandals with staffers, scandals with coaches. Jeff Jackson, the basketball coach who can't stop punching people. 7 arrests among the football staff. Inappropriate relationships that weren't secrets. And the biggest on-field cheating enterprise we've seen in decades. Throughout these scandals, the athletic department's attitude has been anything from general indifference to blatant defiance, all for the sole purpose of not wanting to disrupt the one and only goal, winning. This culminated with the abomination earlier this week, with Ward inexplicably receiving a soft landing and the university refusing to let the findings, a $12 million investigation, be unbiasedly reported. So no, Graham, this isn't normal. This isn't a case of they're just as bad as everyone else. It's an asinine take, respectfully.
Appreciate you, Eric. There are a couple things that I want to get into with this, and these are fair points from Eric. One is how much I think Michigan State and Ohio State played a role in what's happened with like U of M football and U of M attitudes towards winning and everything like that. Basketball is a little different because I don't know if the care level, like, Izzo and Michigan State dominated that rivalry for a decade.
I'm not talking about Michigan.
But when, there was a long period of time where what they really wanted at Michigan after the 90s was somebody to run a good, clean program and be competitive, and that's all they wanted. They just didn't want to deal with scandal with basketball. And maybe that reached a point where they thought a little different, but then they had John Beilein, right? And so I want to separate the basketball from this, anything that's happened there with Juwan Howard or whatnot. I thought the Juwan Howard hire was a smart hire at the time when they lost Beilein and weren't expecting to. I thought that would really work, and at times it did. And ultimately, I still think if he could have controlled his emotions a few times, and if his sons hadn't been if he hadn't actually recruited his son, he might have kept winning there. Football, different. Athletics overall, which is tied to football, a different conversation. And I think the years and years and years and years and years of being unable to beat Ohio State, and then the rise of Michigan State for a long time, and I go back to being at games like that 2012 game where Michigan actually won during that run for Michigan State, and just the relief in that stadium, and then what was happening in the Jim Harbaugh era, as you go as late as 2020 when the COVID year, they get just punched at home as a 25-point favorite by Mel Tucker, and sort of everything that was pent up, they could not stand for that, right? And so I think that is where the attitude of much more of a win-at-all-cost attitude came at Michigan. And I'm not saying it didn't always exist, and maybe it did before I was covering sports around this state or paying enough attention or anything like that. But that to me is I think the rivals had something to do with it, both Michigan State and Ohio State, and so you are right to some degree. I mean, you're right. They're not every school. My point was, I think a lot of schools would handle this the same way and try to mitigate the issues. Now, their issues may be more, and probably are. There are probably some SEC schools that, if you really looked underneath the hood, are up there. But the Connor Stallions thing is, I know that gets poo-pooed and everybody sees it through the lens they want. That is a legitimate reason to question whether a championship is legitimate and whether games for 3 years should have been vacated, right? There are lots of, that is legitimately should be considered. And I don't think most people around the country who don't root for Michigan view that championship as entirely legitimate. And they're going to have to deal with that forever. But, and I think Michigan State fans, though, especially feel all of this and remember and keep track of every little thing, like Eric pointed out here. But in a lot of ways, they're not wrong. But I also don't think that, MSU's had its own shit. A lot of people have had their own stuff. And I think what makes Michigan just come across as harder to tolerate in this stuff and less is that they've sort of behaved like they're above it, like nothing to see here. Like, we won't talk to you. Like, we're bigger than you. We don't need to do this interview. We don't need to make this player available. And we've got all this in-house media, sort of in-house. I wouldn't call it in-house media. We've got all this in-house adjacent media that will support us and
to the blue wall
and push everything. And I'm not even talking about the Detroit media. I'm just talking about the number. When you are a program that big with that many fans that will read, you're going to have a lot of people at goblow.com, and they're going to support what you do, and they're going to see things a certain way. Not everybody, and there are some people who I have been surprised about how critical they've been. and there have been, even a guy like John U. Bacon, who is not considered a bastion of objectivity, has been very critical. And I think Joe was right on Wednesday that people there, the stakeholders at Michigan, ought to feel disrespected and ought to be upset. And if you're not upset, then you ought to look at why you're not upset. And are you just doing it because there's all these pent-up feelings towards rivals and you want things to be a certain way, even if they're not that way?
Dominic next. Why are you doing the thing where you play the down-the-middle BS and say Michigan's behavior is no different from anyone else's? Graham, Horace Couch, you know that is BS. I know you hate gang mentality and love being devil's advocate, but don't do that shit, man. Graham, they cheated. Graham, they were caught. Graham, they refused to take accountability. Graham, calling that out and siding with the masses isn't lazy. The mob is just correct. You are thoughtful and talented, but they don't need a soft landing. They deserve all of this and more.
I think what I am not is angry. That's the problem I have right now. I think that's what comes out, and it doesn't. My anger level over this stuff isn't there, and maybe I should find it. If I can, I'll channel that. I'll get really annoyed and ticked off. And
you will after all that?
No, I'm kidding. I can't do it.
Still haven't?
I can't do it. Look. I think the behavior is crap. And I think there are some of those covering it who are being a little bit soft landing is fair, a little too, like Dan Wetzel's a phenomenal columnist, and wrote a pretty good column. But there's just a hint of, I don't think it was that kind when, as people would say, when Michigan State was going through a lot of its shit. Certainly Wojo's wasn't as kind, and Briggs the Toledo Blade, I thought wrote a really good column. There are lots of tough things being written about Michigan. They are under a microscope now, but there is no doubt that you see hints of the blue curtain all over the place when you read what's being done right now.
The Toledo Blade, huh?
Yeah, Toledo Blade.
All right.
Great paper.
Dominic, if Graham would have been named Horace, would his brethren at Otto Middle School have called him Ho?
So for those who missed it, that was the name I was almost named after my great-uncle Horace. I think died in World War I.
Respect to him, but my God, Horace.
This is back when
horrible name that would be.
They learned this in England. Like, they used to send whole towns in together thinking, hey, these people know each other, whatever. You'd go in one battalion, one troop. But then if you got basically slaughtered, the whole town of young men would be dead. And so you go to these little towns in England where they lost, like, everybody. And then they learned to split them up. But, yeah, I believe I could have this wrong, but I believe my Uncle Horace was part of one of those crews that didn't come out of World War I that well.
They slaughtered a bunch of Horaces.
Something along those lines. That would be the great grandfather of Cora Couch, or uncle, great uncle. Sorry,
one of those.
Otto Middle School is a tough place for a lot of kids, and anybody named Horace, it would have been rough. There's no question. Otto Middle School in the early '90s.
Horace Couch, Mojo Jojo. What's your opinion on LeBron to Philly, Jason? Absolutely wild. San Antonio would have been a bridge to the future. Cavs, a good bookend, and both playoff teams with fan bases that don't throw batteries at their players. Didn't they throw something at Santa too? But did you really think, Graham, that the Cavs had a shot? I just didn't think that he wanted to play with James Harden.
Correct.
And wanted Kyrie Irving. Dallas wasn't going to budge on trading Kyrie Irving, so that didn't seem like that would happen. He's not going to San Antonio.
So there were
right. That's Wembanyama's whole thing. Philly, it makes sense to me as long as Paul George isn't there. Like, I just didn't want Paul George to be involved with LeBron in anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean,
so thank God they shipped him to Boston.
You were looking for clues, like, and if James Harden somehow wasn't on the Cavs anymore, you'd go, oh, that makes sense from a basketball standpoint. And if Miami had, I think, added some shooting, you would have said, oh, because there were some elements there that looked like. Does he want to go back there though? This is definitely interesting. I don't. I thought I wanted Golden State. That's what I wanted. I wanted to have this team that was just the most interesting team. Maybe not. I won't be the best team unless they added.
Is it interesting though?
It would have been. They would have been.
Guys are
they would have been a barnstorming, traveling. Absolutely, that would have been. I think so. That's what I was rooting for. 100% rooting for. But when you go to a team, that has Tyrese Maxey and Edgecombe and, just added, a really.
And if you could bring a
bonafide-
championship to Philly, though.
Yeah. Right. You'd be a legend in a lot of different places.
I just love that LeBron's like, I'm not doing this for the money. Because he took a 2-year, $8 million vet minimum. It's like, no shit. It's like, dude, you're a billionaire. What does it matter anymore?
If you're
Why do we have to even say that?
If you're the Lakers, though, you're a little annoyed because if he had done that sort of deal with you in any of the last 5 years,
yes,
you would have been able to add the sort of pieces around him he needed to have a chance to win one again.
But no one feels bad for the Lakers.
No, of course not.
Mojo Jojo. Why does French Jason hate Gen Z?
The
Gen Z is je ne sais quoi. Young people, crap. No, that's all I got. Spartholomew. They obviously left because of different situations, but can we say that the Trey Holloman and Mark Hollis comebacks are the same, in which if Izzo welcomes them back with open arms, we as fans should accept them?
I don't think you should care what Izzo does. I mean, these are...
Wait, what? I love what Izzo does.
Well, that's fine, but in terms of whether he
do what
accepts
Izzo
people
says.
or not, and Izzo accepts both these guys. I mean,
then I accept them too.
But beyond that, like whether it's you should accept somebody on their own merits. I think Trey Holloman's a nice guy, a decent guy, who made what was a mistake that cost him more than it cost MSU, probably.
And it was the tweet, right?
Yeah,
With Trey.
it was the attitude toward it,
Right.
and it was his mom getting involved. Never looks good, all that stuff. Just It wasn't great. It was not great.
But he's a young
and often
person.
isn't. And you know what? He's moved back to Lansing, and you know why he probably moved back to Lansing? Because other than having a child here, this is the town that has Groovy Donuts. And so my guess is he thought, of all the places I can be,
that's good.
Yeah, I would like to be someplace that has this blueberry cheesecake donut that looks, there are things that are straight out of heaven, and then there are things that are straight out of heaven. This is freaking straight out of heaven, this blueberry cheesecake donut, available this week, Thursday through Sunday at Groovy Donuts, both Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing and in Williamston, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can order online at groovydonuts.com. Make sure yours is still available. Get a box, get a dozen, get a couple extra in a bag, so when you go on the ride home, you can have those too, and the person you're bringing them home for doesn't know that there are 2 donuts missing. This is a pro tip.
Those judgmental people at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want to be wary of them. But that would be my advice. Again, groovydonuts.com. With Hollis, I think most MSU fans feel good about Hollis because I think Hollis represents the way he left. People are sour about, and he, if he ever came back, would have questions to answer and probably should. And he's done some interviews, but never really gotten to the meat of that. But I also think he oversaw what was Camelot for MSU athletics for a long time. Now, under the surface, there was some stuff, right? And obviously the Larry Nassar thing's a whole separate deal, and I don't think that's really that shouldn't really fall on him. But yeah, Hollis, I think overall is somebody who's revered because I think as you get further away from that time, you realize how difficult it was to do what MSU had going for a while then, and he oversaw that, and you see how difficult it is to find an AD who can bring the sort of profile and success that he helped bring to Michigan State in that era.
Mark Snyder next. Guesstimate how much more Trey Holloman got to go to NC State. If it's $100K or more, then it's worth it. That's just too good of a nest egg for a young adult to pass up.
Yeah, it was more than $100K from what I know.
I don't know. You listen to some of these athletes that have podcasts and they talk about their $40 million contracts. Like, you forget about the taxes. It's unbelievable. And then they start itemizing it, and it's just like, okay.
It wasn't an obscene amount of money. I think a lot of it had to do with...
So maybe at the end, it's not really as much as you think, right?
He wanted to be the point guard, and he didn't wind up being the point guard, but he wanted to be the point guard there, and I don't think, and rightfully so, he saw Jeremy Fears as being the guy at Michigan State, and I don't think, I don't think he and Fears were best friends either. And so there was a lot of reasons he wanted to try something else, and what the reasons it hurt for Michigan State fans is, one, he seemed like the ultimate Spartan. He was a guy who you thought might leave early in his career, right? Trey Holloman was a guy who it appeared they recruited over, stuck it out, carved a bigger role for himself, became a really important player. And then, so he had stayed. And then you get the whole deal with that, again, that great run his junior year, he hits the half-court shot against Maryland, right? He he pushes the two guys at center court against Michigan to clear the way for the S to be kissed at center court. Like, he became this figure, and he was on his way to being even more beloved. And I think if he had just graduated then, he still would be beloved. Instead, he left, he'll pay the price for that the rest of his life to some degree.
Good Lord.
Well, no, in terms of financial opportunities and fan legend, I think there's something to be. If you are somebody who is dearly, dearly regarded in Michigan State by, as people always point out, the 500,000, 600,000, by next year it'll be 30 million alums or whatever it is that people like to point out, there is value in that in your professional career. And there's value in that financially and in your life. And I think some of that will not. But
like there. How autograph signings, you can go to car dealerships and do things there. I mean, like
people hire you.
Yeah.
These are alums who are absolutely. People hire you, or who knows to what degree.
But we act like Trey Holloman committed some heinous crime. He turned his back on the program for a minute. Like, young people do dumb things. We can chalk it up to that.
He went somewhere where he thought there was a better opportunity and more money.
Yes,
which is exactly what Jace Richardson did.
And tweeted out something stupid.
Well, that was
now he's
different.
Yeah. Mark Snyder, if Spartan Ventures does pay players, then what does? Kids like Samson Gash don't come here because of the packaging engineering program.
Yeah, I think you meant it doesn't pay players. I missed that. It creates the system in which you basically get outside sponsorships to do it. You have the in-house money, which is that's still coming from Spartan Athletics, from what I understand, which is the revenue share, or at least how that's divvied up. But it creates the system where you get these, semi-legitimate deals with an insurance company or whatever it might be, or Adidas or whoever, and that's where you kind of funnel the rest of the money out of. And I'm not. This is everywhere. I mean, none of these are like legitimate commercial deals relative to how they would be in the true pros in the NBA or anywhere else, and how much somebody makes for doing Chris Paul makes for doing State Farm commercials or whatever. These guys don't have any value relative to that. They don't have the value relative to what they're making. But this is the current way of somewhat doing it legitimately, and we'll see what sticks.
Mark Snyder, LSJ was going to auto-renew my membership for $109 a year. I clicked cancel, and they offered $49 a year. I feel like I'm stealing. Good move by LSJ, or giving it away too cheap?
That's a good move. They need to, because we're charging too much for some people, and hopefully they're
first of all, 109 to 49, just like one cancel click.
109 a year is a really good deal. Number one,
right? That's what I mean. But if they hit cancel, I want to cancel my sub. Maybe 79 first.
I think my problem with what we do, and I'm obviously be careful here a little bit, but just as it's not the same for everybody. My mom pays more than $49 a month, right? And but they know they have her now. She gets 7 days a week of print and all that stuff, and she's
sounds like a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, but what I mean is, it's a little more expensive than I'd like it to be, and I just wish it was something I could tell people, this is what you're going to get because this is what everybody else is going to get, and it doesn't feel like it's always that way. I will work with them as I get back working to see what the best deals are going into football season and how people can get those, and we will talk about them here, and I'll talk about them on social media, because I want as many people to subscribe to us and give us a shot for what I hope will be a year of some really good work.
But is that what the higher-ups tell you in the meetings, though? Is like, charge the people that you love more money. Tell them they have to pay a lot. The people that are close to you and you love the most.
Locally, there is very little control over this stuff. That's not really how it works.
Why jump it down to 49?
That's a great deal. If you find it, get it, take it.
Yeah. Ralph E. Calperoni is posting that Kevin G. would like to fill the AD's position by the end of July. Any insight on timing and who? Happy July is almost over. Better couch in the Rube questions in coming weeks.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised and not surprised. I don't mean to do the shit. Son of a, I did everything that Eric and Dominic were saying. Yeah, I didn't mean to do that.
Bottom line is, I could see that game going one way or the other.
I thought it might take a while to find the right person, and maybe something still gets hung up. This is also the time of year people move. If you don't get an AD before the football season, a lot of them won't move. A lot of them just, so you might be waiting a year to get somebody full-time, which you could do in a situation where you've just launched Spartan Ventures and the person who's in the interim role is ultimately, the AD and has been an AD, and I think you could be okay, and you could see whether that works. And And you hear the story, the rumors about Dan Bartholomew from Western Michigan. I'm not gonna, I'm hearing the same things some other people are hearing now. And
you mean Tim Stout?
No,
Tim Stout's the one that broke that news.
Yeah, of course he did. I am not going to right now. I'm kind of off, so I'm not poking around too much. But
is your phone off?
It's not off. I'm just not making calls or texts on things because here's what the problem is. If all of a sudden I can't work right now, like in theory, I'm not like if that happens and then there's a column worth or I'm not supposed to be working right now. I'm on what's like paid paternity leave. Like it's a whole separate thing. So anyway.
Would the LSJ turn you in if you ended up working or something?
Fire me instantly. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Is this going to go to the
This is a bullshit
Court,
excuse. I would 100% cut this and fix this in post if I could redo this question. I can't. It's a lazy excuse for why I don't want to make any calls, but I just don't want to make any calls this week. I don't think people, but let me just say this. I don't think people are saying that about Bartholomew being serious. So I'll just drop the.
Jesus.
Are off.
Everything is collapsing.
Off the rocker. And I think he's a smart guy. But so, yeah. Anyway, let's move on.
Oh. Man, Mr. Benjen, what's the number one attribute the new athletic director should have? In other words, what profile means it's a good hire?
Well, I think it's got to be somebody who has some critical attributes in terms of fundraising and being able to walk among a lot of different types of people and oversee a department. And there's a lot of things that are important. There is also this. There's a level of not having such an ego that you're willing to come in and run a system that's been put in place by your predecessor. That takes, I think, a certain kinds of talent. You can't be somebody who, there may be things you want to tweak, there may be things that you will tweak, and you'll be able to put your own stamp on things. But ultimately, like Spartan Ventures wasn't your baby, and you're coming into an athletic department that you'll still run the athletic department, and you'll oversee Spartan Ventures, and you'll be on the board with all this stuff, and so that there are some folks whose ego couldn't handle that. And I don't know. So you have to make sure you handle somebody who's. This is the problem with like the board of trustees sometimes, right? They want to make their own imprint. They want their own initiatives. They want their own. Like the idea is to be a steward for the university and move them forward. And the same thing with the new athletic director. If you want somebody whose sole goal is to do right in the moment and for the future of the athletic department and Spartan Ventures and Spartan Athletics and all that stuff, and if you firmly believe that looks like you need to change a few things, you do, but you also, have to try to shepherd something that's been put in place. And you have a president who is part of that and putting that in place as well. So I think that is a real key attribute. And if somebody like Bartholomew is willing to do that, he's obviously a smart young guy who's done well by all accounts at Western Michigan. People think highly of him. They've got that new arena coming into place.
Does he have a punchable face? I mean, does the new AD need to have a punchable face?
I don't think you want a punchable face.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like that's a good attribute to have.
Why?
In today's college football landscape, is to have a kind of a punchable face. Like Jay Bad had the kind of thing, like the smug and people kind of annoyed people. I think that means you're a good AD.
I think what you say, though, makes your face punchable or not.
Well, a little bit.
Right?
It's mostly looks, though.
Like Tony Batiti doesn't have a punchable face, but Tony Batiti comes off so poorly that you want to punch him.
But that's a different category. There's people that have to add a little something as the something they say to the punchable face. But some people just have that look. He just had that look.
Yeah.
Hateable face. Mr. Benjen, will the Pistons ever be a championship team with two awful offensive players in Thompson and Duren making so much money?
Well, that's why they're struggling with the Duren situation right now, because you can't have Duren making 40 and Thompson making 40 and Cade making 50 and win a championship.
Have you seen the Duren news that was out today? Report saying that Duren and his team want the super max.
That's fine.
Like, why wouldn't they say, like, where are these reports coming from?
Yeah. And
like, no shit.
I want a blueberry cheesecake donut from Groovy Donuts. Oh, wait, I can actually have that, and as you can you at groovydonuts.com. No, it's well, what do you deserve? I mean, lots of people want that. Trey Holloman wants to be in the NBA.
Yeah.
He's not going to be in the NBA. Duren is not worth the Supermax. It's not shown that he's worth of his Supermax. And if he's going to show it, he can do it down the road, but he has not done it to this. What does he think happened during the playoffs? Was he watching that in part of the same games we watched?
Hey, just a bad stretch by me. That's what he's probably said.
Except for the whole playoffs.
That's what I mean. I know.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm with you. That's what I would say. But like Jalen, I have never seen anything like a 60-win team have a guy that played the way you did during the regular season and then just shit the bed in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I've never seen, and especially with a Supermax contract on the line. Because if he had an unbelievable playoff run there's no discussion.
Yeah.
Absolutely no discussion.
Right.
Mr. Benjen, pasties or conies?
Pasties.
Pasties. What are those?
It's like in the UP, they're famous for it. And they used to take them down in mines because, they're, I love
good old mine food.
I love a pasty. Like, I love a pasty.
Is that like a pie?
I put ketchup on it. It's like, it has this hard edge because miners used to put their dirty hands on it. But it was, do you ever recreate it where you're like a miner and you're in like a cave? I pretend. Yeah, I put like a light on a hat, and it's incredible. Good pasty with ketchup. I mean, pasty is my answer here. There are places. The Apple Market in Lansing, by the way, has pasties. A lot of places do, but incredible pasties.
Shout out to Apple Market.
Horrocks has pasties.
Yeah,
lots of places have good pasties, and when you get to the UP, it's like, it's.
But some of these coney dogs are outrageous. Like when you look at them, you're like, how am I supposed to eat that? Right? Like the whole plate is like covered in chili sauce or whatever. I'm like, all right. Anyway, Matt Salisbury, my wife's family is talking about visiting us. Moved about an hour south of Raleigh 3 years ago for an early Thanksgiving on November 7th.
That is early.
That sounds terrible. Look at the college football schedule for that day, and it's amazing. MSU Michigan weekend also. Am I within my rights to take my second TV outside?
You
outside? What the? Are you scared of your wife? What are we talking about?
Well, you're definitely within your right to set some parameters.
Yes.
And this includes on like dinner time, times you eat. Like if you grew up in Michigan, one of the reasons I think people in Michigan struggle with, like a lot of people have Thanksgiving like dinner at like 1 o'clock, right? That's a thing that people do.
I guess.
I never understood it. And a lot of people in Michigan don't understand it. And it's because we grew up with the Lions game at noon, and then you play your outdoor Thanksgiving football game, and then so you eat at a normal time. Dinner time is 6.
What are you, the Kennedys? What do you mean?
Basically, dinner time is 6, right? And dinner time, Thanksgiving any day, dinner time is 6. You don't eat before 6. And so I've never understood the early Thanksgiving meal. But this is certainly a situation where depending on the Michigan State game time, depending on what the other games you want to see, and
they're at your house.
Yeah, and you can look like a champion here too by find a game that looks intriguing. Like you can say it's one of the great days of college football. Find a game that looks intriguing, obviously not Michigan State, and sacrifice the first half of it to eat dinner. Then you look like a pro. You're like, I think, but yeah, you're within your right.
Can't have the TV on?
Well, not your Thanksgiving
dinner.
Why?
Why not? I mean, you don't have to have the sound on.
A lot of people don't want that.
Like who? Why? Why? Because we have to hear everyone's discussion that's not interesting whatsoever?
Yes.
Oh, how's work going? No one gives a fuck. I'm not saying you have to have the sound on. You can have those conversations still, but let me see the TV out of my, my peripheral here.
Yeah, no.
I don't understand. It's Thanksgiving. You want everybody together, but then you're like, no TV. I have to listen to Uncle Dale fucking tell another story.
Here's the big
750th time.
Here's the big thing.
And you're in your own house.
It's also November 7th.
So and you're taking it outside? Like, come on. No, I'm inside. There's 2 TVs going, possibly 3. And we can eat around me, I guess.
And it's November 7th.
The fuck?
Right? This is...
I'm sorry.
You're angry.
I know it just bothers me so much that some guys are scared to bring their TVs out because of some certain situations. Like, what are we talking about here? It's Thanksgiving at your house,
and it's not even Thanksgiving. You got to use that to your advantage.
Whatever. It's their early one. I get it. That people can only travel at certain times. I get all that. But if you want to come over, guess what? There's going to be 1, possibly 2 TVs on. If that bothers you so much, then keep your ass at home.
So here's the problem.
F your Thanksgiving.
Now, think about this from the standpoint. This is also in-laws. If this was Teresa's dad, who you've forever tried to impress with muskox flannels, groovy donuts, everything you've been able to throw at him.
He already hates me, so what does it matter if he comes over to our house? I'm going to have it. He knows I'm a sports fanatic. He understands that. And a lot of my in-laws, thankfully, have understood that I am a sports fanatic and have a TV on. Now, during dinner, yes, but I'm going to their house. So the rules are your house. I get it. I have no issue with that. But when we're done eating, if I could get a TV, that would be fantastic. And if I can't do that, guess what? I'm not coming. I don't care. In-law, family, friend, anyone.
11 a.m. meal.
I'm just saying.
Matt, I would play this. I would play Jason's rant here because people will realize how serious this is. And then you'll also come off looking good. You'll be like, oh, at least our daughter isn't married to that guy.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Yeah, I would go with that.
Say it could be worse.
Yeah.
I'm not even Thanksgiving. If it was just any random week, why can't we have the TV on? Like, what else are we talking about that's so important? Nothing. David Jackson, what's your best guess about where Jackson Kohler will be playing basketball this season? Assuming your answer that this injunction out in California succeeds so that all those seniors magically get one final year of eligibility.
Yeah, I plan to talk to Jeff Kohler soon here, and he and I have touched base. And here's what I would say this, and this is not me going on any information, though, but I would be, let's say they get the extra year, and he is part of this lawsuit. I would be a bit surprised if he winds up at MSU next year. And this is just me spitball, just because I think there is, he loved playing at MSU. He will forever have that. There are two reasons. From MSU's perspective, the roster's kind of built to not have him at this point, right? This is Cam Ward's time at the 4. They brought in a 5. It's not that he couldn't come in and play the 5, but that would sort of be the expectation if he was going to do it. Now, Ward and Kohler together might be a terrific tandem. I also think for Kohler, and this is, I think you hear the same voices for 4 years, and it's just time to be maybe coached by somebody else, and you'd enjoy that experience and enjoy something new. And so I would be surprised if it's not something out west closer to where he's from.
David, can one reasonably conclude that Ward Manuel getting 6 more months is a quid pro quo for him to agree to never disclose where the bodies are buried? Perhaps the details are in the $12.5 million non-existent report. Is it okay to suspect this without being accused of being a hating rival fan? Yeah, I think so.
Yes. I mean,
sure.
I think the Ward Manuel situation going through the end of the year is twofold. One, I think there is probably some truth that where the bodies are buried, everything he knows, it's the idea of you don't want to piss off this person who could bring things down even worse. You don't want a tell-all book, written by Ward Manuel about all this stuff. But I also think from a practical standpoint, if you're trying to get a new AD with the new president and all that stuff, having Manuel stick around until that happens is probably what they're trying to do. How necessary that is, however, and if ultimately everything that the interim president said makes you think, well, how can the sitting AD, the person who oversaw that, remain at all? And that is the contradiction there, the thing that makes no sense. And but yeah, I would not be surprised if there's some level of, let's not push him out here too quickly.
Next one from David. Joe Rexroad seemed quite contemptuous about Michigan's $12.5 million cover-up / whitewash when he guessed it on Wednesday. Why is it that the columnist at the News who regularly writes about that program handles them with kid gloves? Is it because he's just a fan and not really a journalist?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you want me to what I'm going to say here. I think Wojo writes some the Michigan-friendly columns from time to time. And I understand why people are a little frustrated with the one he wrote, and especially some of the language was a little soft, and I didn't write it myself. I don't. Sometimes when people ask this, though, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, do you want me to say, yes, this is the corruption, this is the blue wall, this is the conspiracy, this is the problem, damn it.
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. About time, Couch. Good Lord, it's taking you so long. Sparty Barb, Graham, if you and Jason were in charge of deciding Michigan's punishment for the cheating, felonies, and cover-ups, what sanctions would you impose on Michigan athletics? Well, it would have to be related to money, because that's the only way you can hurt some of these people and things and institutions is by possibly, I don't know, capping some things that they can. I mean, there's nothing you can really do, right? Because they're just going to sue their way out of it. But if we had a choice, I feel like I would want to punish Michigan by taking a significant chunk of money away from them. I know they have endless kind of cash, but it's the only way that you can kind of hurt them.
Well, that's been done to some degree. I think that the big punishment over time, and this might have not affected the championship, because you can still say they won the championship, but I would have I think you could have taken certain games and basically taken those wins away.
And no one cares about that, though.
But if you do that in the 3 seasons leading up to the championship, that would further dent the idea that they had won a championship. Though the years of the games that the way the program turned, coinciding with Connor Stallion's involvement, and look, you saw what happened in the English championship in soccer with Southampton, right? Where you get somebody spying, and they got kicked out of the playoff championship game. I mean, they got huge implications.
Yeah, but the New England Patriots with old Deflategate and everything, we don't look at that. I mean, it's talked about, but we still look at Tom Brady doing his stupid shit, smacking
but they didn't take
Logan Paul. But I mean, he's still a 6-time Super Bowl champion. Yeah,
they didn't take wins away, is what I'm saying. I think somewhere along those lines should have been what was done with, that you get wins taken away in those years where. Because we don't know how much people can say I had no impact. You don't know that. You can say it had impact. Well, we don't really know that either. But we do know they started to win as he got more involved. And the bottom line is you did something that was against the rules during this stretch of time. And if you play with an ineligible player and you see what happens at Michigan State, for heaven's sake, you lose like everything. So this seems certainly greater than what some schools do that get wins vacated, and so that.
But
that
then
is where
USC had wins vacated. I mean,
to me,
Ohio State with the jersey thing, but no one looks back and
sure they do.
We reminisce about Reggie Bush and how amazing he was, and Leinart. I never go back and go, oh, they had things vacated. I mean,
well, there's nothing you can do. The games are still played. We saw the games, we saw the wins,
right.
and the NCAA doesn't control the college football playoff, so there's debate about that. But if you went and vacated wins that led up to it, it would be a harder thing for people to claim a championship.
Richard Kane, isn't LBJ's quote, better to have your enemies inside the tent pissing out than outside the tent pissing in? Instructive in understanding why Michigan wants to keep Manuel around a while. And speaking of Michigan weirdos, what the hell is Tom Brady doing and wrong with him?
Yeah, smacking somebody at, who was it?
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't.
He's going to mess up his legacy, isn't he?
He's going to screw something up.
How is it possible, though?
Try to be too
How is
in the
that
public.
possible to screw up that kind of legacy, though?
He's got to be
impossible.
He's got to be careful just not to want to be too in the public. Sometimes it seems like Tom Brady wants to be too in the public.
Well, that's too late.
Yeah, but
he's
I'm
everywhere.
That's fine. But I'm saying is you have to know the line not to cross here, and don't become a weirdo. Yeah, and I do worry that he's
who's in Tom Brady's camp telling him anything.
He
has no one.
You may be right. Yeah.
Richard Kane, how hilarious is it that The Athletic says Nebraska is a women's volleyball school?
I don't know, worst things to be known for. But they do. I mean, they sell out an arena. But yeah, no, you're right. This is a place that dreams of being a football school, and I think that was Rexroad's column, right? I mean, so that's it. A lot of places though would love to have women's volleyball. I think it might even be a revenue sport. I haven't seen the number, but there are very few places where they're actually breaking even or making money on women's volleyball. And Nebraska may be one of the very few, and if I'm speaking out of turn,
not much to do in Nebraska, I guess.
Yeah, they have everything that. I mean, Lincoln is a great town, and I don't know what the hell I'm talking. Let's take a really quick break. When we come back, we will dig into more of your Groovy Donut Twitter questions. Couch in the Rube, our Friday show, presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app.
Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com. Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi. Sip on handcrafted cocktails or one of 46 beers on tap. Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with 1 awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Firekeepers Online Casino and Sportsbook is the site to play. From your phone, tablet, or laptop. Get in on all the football action with pre- and in-game wagering. There's showdowns every week in football that you can't miss. Plus, the college and pro hoops are red hot, and the pucks are cool. Get your first casino deposit and sports wager matched up to $500 each. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117.
Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also, download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
Couch in the Rube, our Friday show, presented by our friends at Firekeepers Casino and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. If you haven't downloaded the app yet, or you used it years ago, they have revamped it. It's I think, a more user-friendly experience. They've got some great sign-up bonuses. Check out the Week 1 football lines or any of the baseball games this weekend. Of course, bet responsibly, or head on down to Firekeepers Casino on I-94 in Battle Creek for the in-house sportsbook experience at Dacey's Tap Room and Sportsbook. All right, back to your groovy donut Twitter questions.
Libby Meyer next. Jason, which of life's greatest questions do you most want answered? Number 1, where's Mel Tucker?
Yeah, we don't have enough time for all of that.
Unfortunately, we don't have. 2, who shot Jeremy Fears? And 3, why was Max Bullough suspended for the Rose Bowl? See, it's between 2 and 3. That's a tough one. Because Mel Tucker, I mean, he's done a really good job of just getting out of the limelight, not saying anything, being seen. I can respect that. Stay out of the way. I don't really care where Mel Tucker is. But who shot Jeremy Fears? I think I might know. So, but it has to be 3, just because the way Max Bullough answered it when it was brought up to his attention.
He certainly added to the story.
I'm like, what could you possibly not want to talk about that happened on that?
Yeah.
Like, you knew when you signed to be the co-defensive coordinator or whatever that it's going to be brought up, right? Or no? Did he think it was just going to be looked over? No one cared?
I have to think he thought it was going to be brought up. And I would have liked to think he had a better answer prepared than he did. He didn't.
Because usually, I don't know, because I don't mind telling stuff that's happened to me in my past. So if I ended up not wanting to talk about something, I think people would go, like, my God, what could that possibly be?
Yeah, right. That's the thing.
Max Bullough, maybe he's just not that guy. He doesn't like talking about anything outside of that. I can understand that. But it definitely makes me, out of those 3, one to the most. Scotty Green's El Camino. I've heard Fitzgerald talk about returning to the D'Antonio era toughness. Does this also mean scheme? Or is it as simple as being able to run the ball makes everything else easier?
That's a really good question on, because people talk that all the time. I mean, every coach that they've had, they're going to be tough. You're going to feel them. You're going to know it when the way they play and all that stuff. It's easy to say. It's another thing. You have to have the people to do it, right? You have to have the and I think where you've seen it is the size that they've recruited a certain guy. I mean, there is a definite size defensively, and they are trying to recruit to a, we'll hit you, you'll stop sort of toughness. And some of that's mindset. But if you're getting creamed because you're not very good and you're getting run over, it is really hard to just hang in there and sort of have that scrappy level of toughness. I mean, D'Antonio's programs look tough because they were good. And, I try to remember, like, I wasn't covering the team back in 2007, but when they were just okay, those early years.
Was that the Todd Schultz years?
When he was the columnist?
2007?
Had he already left? They did not have a columnist from like 6 to 12 at the LSJ.
For real?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Is that what you're talking about? That
Why
Todd
was
Schultz
that?
or the other Todd Schultz, the quarterback Todd Schultz?
Both Todd Schultz.
Oh, yeah.
Where are they now?
Yeah. You just, cuts and journalism and all that good stuff. Yeah, not great. Not great.
Is that because of Ebeling?
Basically, they said we can't do this again.
Yeah, they're still paying off his shit. Munfield Keg, does Jason realize how many "he's a great kid" disclaimers he used while talking about Nolan on Wednesday? We even got "he's a good kid," a really good kid, thrown in there once, which Graham then followed up with, "he's a great kid." Amazing segment.
Appreciate you.
Okay. I know, because I know how uncomfortable it makes Graham, so I try to cushion it with, like, listen, he's a great kid. Because Couch wasn't ready for me to bring it up again. I think it makes him uncomfortable. So I wanted to, I feel like we should be able to talk about it since Nolan's on air. And,
yeah.
Yeah. See, listen to him now. Listen to him over there.
Hey, I left the question.
He's over there humming already, dude. I'm not even saying anything. Professor, who is your all-time favorite Detroit Tiger? Bazooka to the head. Will the Tigers make the playoffs?
Who's your favorite Tiger of all time?
Dave Bergman.
Oh yeah,
because of this show.
Yeah.
And I'm glad whoever the person is that has the Dave Bergman alive today Twitter account is back. I'm happy to see you back. And he just goes, no. Is Dave Bergman alive today? No. So Dave Bergman, definitely. Jack Morris, for many reasons. Who else?
Yeah, I mean
Trammell, Whitaker. That was our thing when we were younger, right?
Tramaker and the whole idea of the connection. Yeah, that was No, there was a lot of, and when you're a kid, that stuff varies from year to year. Like I had a weird year where I was like a Rob Deere guy. I was like, oh man, I just want to.
See, I was like a big Will Clark, Ken Griffey Jr. Like I like the national, since the Tigers weren't really in contention during my youth, really. So I had other, those were my favorite baseball players, is Will Clark and Griffey Jr.
Well, and amazingly, we are remarkable Tigers fandom stories, and anybody our age is, because the Tigers did not have a winning season between our 13th and 24th birthdays, which are years that are important to like hanging on to fandom. Probably it helps that they were good and relevant with like Cecil Fielder when we were like in middle school and stuff like that, and that was great. And he was probably my guy. But yeah, it was. That's a good question. All-time favorite guy, I would.
Guillermo Hernandez.
Yeah,
reliever.
Raul Casanova, the catcher who never really arrived. It's probably actually Fielder, to be honest, because that was like the bad boys year when he hit 50 in 1990. That was just like
without steroids.
Just incredible, and that's back when like hitting 50 was amazing. Bazooka to the head. Tigers make the playoffs.
I don't want to see. This is again why I hate this team, because like I feel in my heart, no. I want to be wrong, though. I'm going to say no. They don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm saying no.
I don't want to be a hater, though, so prove me wrong. Yeah, we'll go from there. I'm just sick of AJ Hinch.
I'm sure of it. Shit. I'm sure they don't make the playoffs.
It's really one of the top teams I've hated, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't want to. Professor Ford Nolan, would you rather face Graham or Jason in a bare-knuckle boxing match?
So I texted Nolan this before the show.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Why didn't you wait till Monday?
Well, we could, but these are the questions, and he just said he said I think I would rather fight Jason.
Bring it, you little fuck.
Because you just had a kid, so you've unlocked your dad's strength.
All right, I'll give him all right, good answer.
That's a good answer.
All right,
it is true.
Call me a prick again. We'll make that reality.
I carry Cora in my left arm, so my left arm is definitely stronger. But
finally matches your right.
Yeah,
for all those years.
But Jesus, you remember when we went to the YMCA early in the show's period to see if I could bench press 225 12 times, which I said I could, and I did.
Yeah.
Right. So I've been going to the Y. Arms. I've been going to the Y a little bit lately, just and throwing up to see what I can do, and I basically can do 100 pounds less than that 12 times right now. That's how much I've lost in the 8 years since I did that. So it's not great.
Short arm guy. JB Leets next. If you were the sports czar, and I actually believe we need one badly, as the money grubbers are sucking the soul out of all of them, what's one rule or change you'd make to fix college football? It's dying a slow death, and I don't think Rex Road was nearly alarmist enough on Wednesday's pod, which was a great episode, by the way. If it weren't for sports betting, I think it would be on life support. Also, let's meet in Chicago next summer and get you to Wrigley, Jason. I have a connect. Hell yeah, dude. I also want to go to the Masters as well. If anybody out there is listening wants to take me to the Masters.
You're all good.
Because I got rejected again for the...
Did you really?
Well, it's for when you can register for tickets or...
Are you on a list because of your jail time?
No, penis. The Masters lets you go in and put in an application for tickets.
Gotcha.
What would it have to do with any jail time?
I don't know.
72 days in Ingham County Jail.
If it's like a
the
sex offender list,
Masters let you work there in an orange jumpsuit. What the? This is
the dude.
I mean, you just wanted to bring up the fact that just proves my point. You just wanted to bring up the fact that I did 72 days in Ingham County Jail.
I did
for good behavior, by the way. Should have been 90.
Yep. The all right. One rule you would change. Do you have one that would change college football? Like one thing that could change, rule or change to the sport?
Well, I mean, we have to have some sort of rules. So how would I just come up with one? I mean, do we need a commissioner? Is that considered a rule? I mean, I figured
you can't transfer without showing you're aggrieved or something.
No. But I mean, like, it's hard to come up with just one or two things you and I can come up with without having some sort of. It needs to be all broke down and figured out, especially with all of these kids getting money and stuff.
I've got one idea, and this is outside the parameters of like the operation of how the player movement and player payment and all that stuff, because that stuff's a mess. There's no doubt. But something that was also a mess: FIFA, the World Cup prices, all that. And the World Cup right now, everybody's going, wow, that was pretty awesome. And the reason there is because the World Cup is awesome. And even when you put these stupid little hydration breaks, the games are awesome. And in college football, one of the biggest problems they have right now, beyond that there's a turnoff from not feeling as connected to the players and players leaving and what's going on, all that stuff, is that the games aren't awesome. The level of play in 80% of, and I'm talking Power 4 games, quarterback play's not very good, level play's not. You love it because it's your alma mater, or you're a fan of the team and you support them, or you love the experience of being at a game to some degree. But the level of play is not very watchable. And when you put in the idea that you get 4 minutes of action, 3 and out, maybe 5 plays and out, and then a 3.5-minute commercial, thanks Fox, which is everybody else is sort of bumping up there as well. When you do that, it at the stadium, it's brutal. It's bad at home, but at least you can get up and move around, change the channel, watch another game. At the stadium, you're just kind of sitting there, baking or freezing or whatever the temperature is, and just having to pee, but you really don't have time to go there. What I think they should do is just sort of like tennis, where tennis line changes, or soccer, the time is the time. Halftime is 15 minutes. Fit your stuff in there. Changeovers in tennis, right? Often 90 minutes. Get your commercials, or 90 seconds, sorry. Get your commercials in. And if you made commercial breaks, no more than 2 minutes, and then if for the sake of the finances, make it at the quarters 6 minutes. People almost have time to use the bathroom or do something else. Make it a little longer there. Bigger break at the and then everything else is 2. The game just moves. The game would move better, and we need that. And you could also do something even more out of the box, where the quarter doesn't have to end. Just if you got a 6-minute break, what you don't want to do is have like teams at the goal line, quarter ends. Let's wait 6 minutes to have them line up and run the next play. You could say anything inside the 20-yard line, you finish that drive, then we take the quarter break, even if it takes you're a little bit into the fourth quarter. You could do something like that, just sort of like soccer, does with, they don't end the game when somebody's on the break or, has the ball in enemy territory, so to speak. So I think there are ways to make the game better, so that when the other stuff follows, you actually have a sport that's good. And because a lot of it is not that good. That's the biggest problem. The level of play is not that good. These players are getting paid because people are obsessed with them. But the football itself is often not that good.
Gruff Sparty is the best Sparty. What's going on with this SEC breakaway story? Is the Big Ten next?
I don't think anybody's leaving. Anybody. No.
I saw this story and I just was like, I'm not reading this.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Right? What are we talking about?
It's not happening. It's not happening.
Gruff Sparty is the best Sparty. I usually dislike interview formats, but couches are somehow good. Somehow. What do you do differently? I also always love Jason's takeaways.
Well, thank you. No, I just...
he's 69s, first and foremost, for like 7 minutes with whoever the
butter
guest
them
is.
up, butter them up, make them feel good. I think it's just making it conversational, and it's probably... I have very few strengths in this world, like 3 or 4. Many, many weaknesses, and that's one of my strengths, is just interviewing people, be it on air or not, just because I like talking to people, and I don't know. I don't know how to say. I mean, I appreciate you saying that. I don't think they're always good. Sometimes they are, but
Couch, if you haven't noticed, can't take a compliment.
That's another
right.
Yeah,
just take the compliment, buddy.
Yeah.
Gruff, Graham, does the new Odyssey movie have you at Les Mis level of excitement? Oh my God,
it does not. But I do want to see it because everybody's sounding like it's great. It's sold out. It's like Titanic level sold out. So it's got to be,
so it must mean it's good.
Well, I'd like to see it at some point. Will you see it at some point?
Absolutely not.
No?
When I heard people saying like, oh, remember the book we read in high school or whatever, middle school? And I'm like, okay. Any book of like that, I'm not going to. No.
Well, but
it's like Odyssey, and it's probably 3 hours long, I'm guessing.
Yeah, but you can not like The Great Gatsby and then think the movie's pretty good,
Okay. That's a solid point.
Yeah.
I can understand that. Great Gatsby. Yep. Ken Chu, Graham, does it surprise you that since June 1st, the Tigers are 16-9 against teams with a 500 plus record, have series sweeps of division-leading Rays and White Sox and wild card-leading Yankees, as well as series wins versus the Mariners, Rangers, and Cubs? no good versus good teams, you say.
This is why when you pull up your app on the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook, you ought to bet your own games, because evidence here is presented by Ken shows that I don't actually know what I'm talking about. I do think you say this, but and maybe there are games that I've just stayed away from, the Troy Melton games or whatever. My record putting a little money on the Tigers' opponent against those teams is really good. Maybe it's because I picked and chosen a few games in those series that looked better. So that's a really good point.
So what you're saying is you have to have patience.
That's an amazing stat. It's an amazing stat. I just don't think they're I just don't think they're very good. Would you think? And the White Sox, by the way, aren't very good. They're just leading but the Rangers aren't that good. But if the Tigers were in a series in the playoffs against the Mariners or against most teams who are going to be in the playoffs, would you think they were going to win that series? I would not right now, and I would bet a fair bit that they weren't.
Renee Janke next. Carlos Medlock was on the bench in street clothes for Moneyball last night. Have you heard anything? Is he injured?
I have not. He had a big scoring night the other day, so I think, again, while I haven't made a call on this, if something was serious, I think I would have heard something by now and haven't. So
hello, Liz Frank, are you there?
Yeah, I've not heard anything, and so I apologize.
Spartan Johnny, why are you apologizing? Spartan Johnny, in a quick search of win totals, I was reminded MSU had 14 wins vacated due to recruiting violations from 2022 to 2024. How many games has Michigan had vacated so far? Do we anticipate any? I'm laughing as I type this.
Yeah, none, and I don't anticipate it happening. And that's probably the way. What the NCAA decides is should be a vacated win is what's absurd. It's strictly the ineligible player, and you look at what makes an ineligible player, and what Michigan State was having these horrible years, and they had a little bit of extra money paid for in a day and age where these athletes are getting huge sums of money, and you're talking mere thousands for travel and things like that, costing a team and other athletes games and coaches games, and it just the inconsistency and sort of what's right and wrong of it this is part of the problem with the NCAA, that people look at it as this just absurd agency that forever was just way too. Look, the Miles Bridges situation back in 2018 or 2017, whatever it was, and it's $40 for an agent, and that's a huge story. Like that era of the NCAA, just this oppressive entity that it was forever and ever. This is their comeuppance. Like, this sucks what's happening in college sports right now in a lot of ways because it's not as fun to follow. But this is deserved. And the weird thing and the hard thing for, I think, a lot of people in college sports to understand, including the athletes, and this is their moment, and they're 20 years old, and they're just getting theirs, and they don't really care, is the system that's in place now is a reaction to the system that existed in a lot of ways unfairly for a long time. But the system that's in place now, if it had been in place or tried to be in place years and years ago, sports never would have taken off. People wouldn't have cared. People would not. So the question is the longevity of it. Can people, the obsession with it, the fact that we're doing a show right now and there are questions about MSU and there's these rivalries and all, this is all created off a love for alma mater and a love for team that was created before this system now. And so the oppressive system is what's created the market that these guys now enjoy. That's not the question you asked, but that's the answer you're getting.
Are you raising your voice at me?
Spartan Johnny, can we get more on-air reviews of how people are performing at their internships? Let's call people who are employing interns, not let them know this will be on the air, and just get the pure, unadulterated feedback. I love you, Jason. This was a great idea. He's a great kid, though.
He's a great kid.
Unbelievable kid. Rock solid kid. Nervous Bird. Better feeling for the season. 5-7 with a win over Michigan. 6-6 with competitive loss to Michigan, or 7-5 and a blowout loss to Michigan. How about Nervous Bird? Fucking, I hate this question with a passion.
The answer
every like off season we get this nervous bird.
The answer is 5-7 with a win over Michigan. At this point.
Guess. Sure.
Great. And 6-6,
and then a whole year of blowharding about how that win, and then we like, oh, we're looking forward to next year. What do you guys think? 8-5? 8-4? Excuse me. I don't know. Like what the? It's not fun.
It's not fun.
It's not funny. It's not fun. Bob in Fort Myers. Graham made a wisecrack about Michigan football booster Larry Ellison not being a Michigan alumnus. Ellison's wife is a Michigan alum. Sort of a weird chirp since our apparent athletic department savior, Greg Williams, nor his wife, nor his kids attended MSU. I'd rather have Ellison buying 5 stars than this murky long-term pledge cloaked behind non-disclosures, a nonprofit and LLC thing that we have. Lastly, Greg Williams has not actually donated $401 million to MSU. Williams has pledged $401 million, and the pledge's first $50 million installment isn't due until December of 2027. Sorry, I ain't holding my breath.
Yeah, but you can borrow against pledges, and that's schools do that for things all the time. Look, Greg Williams is said to me that he's committed, that he wasn't even when they were losing Kevin Guskowitz, that they weren't deterred at all. So I mean,
what did Don say?
Well, that's the person I need to check with, but I have I'm gonna take him at his word for that. But that's a fair point. Like in Michigan, Larry Ellison should be able to give money whoever wants to give to. The joke is, though, that like we always talk about alums, and this in that case, it's not even an alum. And you're right, Greg Williams' feelings towards MSU stem from living this community. And like I was as a kid was a massive MSU fan because I grew up here. Right, it was right around. This was the big school in town, and these were the games here, and it was bigger than life. And that was, and so I understand MSU's impact on the community, and there's nothing wrong with that. And Bob, you're not. You're probably not alone in your thinking.
Skyler, have you guys seen the LSU basketball roster? Question. What is this monstrosity? I don't think they have a player under 23 or 24.
Yeah, this is how you make hateable college athletics. Yeah, I have not looked at it except knowing some of the players who've just come in. We'll see what they do. I've seen Will Wade's teams in the postseason at LSU and elsewhere. I'll be
ask Trey Holloman about Will Wade.
We'll see if that team can get beyond the Sweet 16 ever.
D. Harv next. Try to help us ease into the college football talk. Let's reignite a great topic, the troughs. I was in Rome this year and realized that the Coliseum used troughs. So Spartan Stadium is in good historical company. So my question, what is your preferred trough position? Way at the end of the trough, a few spots down from the end, or smack in the middle over the drain?
So if it's an empty trough, I'm going right in the middle. But I don't really care. I just want to,
down at the end where you can see all the dongs.
Wiggle my way in and have room. Yeah, that's all. I'd
wiggle your way in.
Just have space.
What if?
I felt all of Fred Human.
Now, what if Fred Human's at the trough first? Which way are you going?
It might be a couple people down from Fred. Just in case he loses his balance or something. Don't need to fall in.
Some dude. Question for Jason. What is more disgraceful, Scooble hiding an injury or voluntarily being involved in Cure Auto Insurance commercials? See, I would love to ask Scooble, though, like, what were you thinking when you were, like, recording these? Like, what did you, I know he would never disclose what he got paid, or maybe he would. But even if it's like $1 million, though, like you had to, when you were filming these and you saw Eric Poe sitting right across from you, right, and doing the fist bump, and you had to say all the stupid lines, like, was it worth it? Especially if you're going to get, you're going to get paid.
One of my favorite things about this show is that we have never had a sponsor whose product I was embarrassed by.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, we have Groovy Donuts, which is like, selling heaven, but that's a whole different deal. But like, if we had Cure, if Cure called and said, yeah, you got to sit down with Eric Poe and
deal.
We'll do this.
Yeah, I'm in. I can be bought. I'm saying, but I don't have Tarek Scooble backup. If I was going, about to make over $150-200 million, I'd look at it and go, hey, I tell my agent, I'd be like, I can't. I don't want to do this. I look like a complete asshole. Look at these commercials, right? But you and I, yes.
Well, and here's the problem.
You wanted us to do Cameo for $4 a cameo.
That was,
and that would have been worse than
2020.
It would have been worse than any Eric Poe commercial we could have done.
I regret it. entirely. And
we didn't do any.
Thank God the pandemic happened. I mean, we were.
No. Wait a minute. Why do you keep saying it was a possibility? It would have been a one-man thing. Okay. Couch would have been doing them.
Yeah.
I said no right away.
Yeah.
Because you said for $5 a piece.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
well,
that's probably what we deserve.
Rate. Yeah.
I understand that, but after everybody takes their cut, then we each get it. We have to split it. So we're getting 75 cents to act like a complete ass.
We had a meeting scheduled with somebody from Cameo.
Couch did.
I did.
He's pulling me in this.
And then literally that happened, and then the next week she was like, "You still want to do it?" I'm like, "We can't even be in the same room. Like it's March 2020 here."
These guys that have money already. Like I know that he doesn't have the contract yet.
My problem with that is like if you're
why look like an idiot?
Like if I'm telling you to get a groovy donut, I'm not telling you to do it for nutritional value, but I'm telling you you're going to really enjoy yourself. You're going to enjoy the taste, and I'm not lying to you. It's an incredible donut. And if people get Cure Auto Insurance because of this shit, that's messed up, man. That's not cool. So it's that.
Some dude. Question for Couch: who was the real brains behind Spartan Ventures and the restructuring of the athletic department? Guskowitz or Bat? I say it was Gus, and Bat was just the front man, and he sucked at it.
Yeah, I think this was Jay Bat's idea.
Damn, some dude hit it right on the head. How do you know that?
That's what everybody wants.
That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Andrew Gauthier, Graham, when questioned about your journalistic colleagues' less than aggressive coverage of Michigan's indiscretions, why do you shift the conversation to state house coverage? Let's just admit MSU gets more of a spanking in the press when they do something wrong than Michigan.
Well, at times they have. And I think the last decade it certainly has felt like that because first of all, you had Nasser, which was just this brick on the university's chest for a long time, and some of it rightfully so. And then you had ESPN, which I think, as Joe brought up, was probably a little aggressive and spiteful in the way they were coming after MSU, and that felt like and that hit so you get that, and then you get the pile-on, and that feels like it. And but you're not. Look, I don't know what you want.
That's
me
really
to say
good though. Brick on your chest.
Yeah,
that's a great way to. Andrew, what were your biggest disappointments from the World Cup?
Ecuador. I had a lot of stake in Ecuador futures. Thought they were going to be better. I didn't think they'd be great offensively, but they were beyond dismal offensively, and that was disappointing. They did help us cash our plus 300 bet by getting out of the group stage, but it took like a lucky win over Germany to do it. So yeah, that was not Ecuador was probably it. And then
no, just one.
Oh, sorry, yeah, England. Against the way they finished against Argentina.
Andrew, is it weird that the celebratory smoke after Spain's win was blue and white? Was it even more weird that the Empire State Building was lit blue and white on Saturday evening in NYC?
Yeah, I didn't even.
I think it was weirder watching Trump out there trying to stay in the picture and all that.
Well, they were trying to get rid of him.
Dude.
Yeah, God, man. I mean, like, it's just so funny because it says so much about him. Like he's, the inability to realize this isn't about you and people don't want you to be, hand him the trophy. Fine, get off the stage. And apparently, I forget if it was Germany or what language broadcast was basically like. Was making fun of him, and other people were like, they can at least cut him out of the picture here. And they did. I think they used Photoshop and just cut him out of the picture.
Alan Pearlstein next. The World Cup tournament played in North America generated huge revenues across a number of industries. Because of this, do you think that FIFA will be compelled to hold the World Cup in North America again in the near future?
Yes, because there's so much money. And they can rack up ticket prices in ways they can't in other countries. And you already see what they're doing because it has to move around continents. Like, that's the rule. And so the next one, though, is in Europe and Africa because Morocco has games, and they're playing because it's the 100th anniversary, some games in South America. So that covers 3 continents. And then the one after that is in, Saudi Arabia, right? And that's in 2034. And so in 2038, I would be stunned if it's not back in the United States to some degree. They're able to circle all the way back.
Peasy. Graham, what do you think about Klopp to Germany? Found it refreshing. He opened the press conference by saying they're not good enough, have a long way to go, and if they treat him like they did Nagelsmann, he's gone.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really good manager. It was a good hire by Germany. Sometimes, though, you think, like Thomas Tuchel said the right things about England. He said they always played afraid to lose. They didn't, and that they were going to be different, and he was going to tap into that. And then in the biggest moment against Argentina, he put out a scared approach, right? And it cost them. They played back on their heels, tried to survive with a 1-goal lead against Messi and a team that doesn't play great defense, but is electric offensively. Just gave him the ball, and I think it was a good hire. But you got to see it work out. And Germany needs to get rid. Having Havertz up front as your number 9, that stuff's just not going to work. They need some talent in a couple places.
Peasy, Jason, do you ever notice Graham's when you say something remotely passionate? Your Fromber take was spot on, and all you got was a Hey, listen, I'm happy to get a because sometimes he just gives me nothing on a lot of this shit. Like I get a lot of the times I say stuff where it's like, what are you supposed to say after that? But I enjoy a good
Sometimes it's that. And sometimes I'm trying to think of the live read. I'm like trying, how can I
constantly
play off that?
thinking of live reads. Yeah. It's impressive. Steve, Graham, what in the world are tennis players looking at when serving and then choosing between 3 balls? Really? Is there a difference?
I've heard professionals say that really they don't know what they're supposed to do and they just pick 2. You can, especially when they're not new ball, a ball can look a little more frayed or whatever. And because when you're playing like high school level tennis, you obviously don't have a ball boy, ball girl to throw the ball back to, but you will have 3 balls. And so you choose 2, and I don't even know why you choose the 2 you do. A lot of times it's the closest one, but sometimes if you have all 3, you just do look at one, you're like, this ball doesn't look as good. And whatever.
It's like when T asked me to get avocados at the grocery store, and I have no idea. I just act like I'm looking at them.
You just don't because
toss them in.
Yeah.
Well, they're probably the wrong ones or something.
Yeah, there's a certain level of softness, and it depends how quickly you want to eat them. I'll go with you next time.
Mojo Jojo. Graham, are you sure you didn't go to Lansing Catholic? How do you not know what a dirty Sanchez is? For what it's worth, always type in the word on Urban Dictionary versus Google to avoid the algorithm shift and search history cookies. He knows.
Yeah.
He knew what a dirty Sanchez was.
Just didn't want to get into it.
He doesn't like playing along.
That was all. Yeah.
Joseph Stetz. What is more dangerous, the devil's lettuce or Taco Bell lettuce? I guess it depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
If they're really religious, they would say devil's lettuce.
That's
the only person ever to say devil's lettuce is some religious person.
Does anybody know anybody personally who's had an issue?
What, with Taco Bell lettuce?
Yeah. That's what I wonder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joseph Stats, I drove over the Mackinac Bridge for the first time a couple weeks ago. Is there a cooler bridge in the world?
No.
Top 5 bridges.
Yeah. Well, Gold Gate's up there. It's pretty cool. Mackinac's amazing. When you see the Mackinac Bridge, you're starting to go across it. And when you get close, first of all, you're excited because you're finally getting to the UP, and the drive before it's not that interesting. But it is, and it's a clear day over the Mackinac Bridge.
Remember when you were a kid, did you hear that story about the woman getting blown off?
And the Yugo, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That story always stuck with me when I was younger.
I
think my Uncle Dave told me to scare the shit out of me.
They have people who will drive you over now, still to this day, if you're nervous about it or it's windy or whatever. They have somebody you can.
Oh my God, that must be fun. That must be a fun job.
Yeah.
Have to just drive a bunch of panicky Pete's over the Mackinac Bridge. What if it's a windy day? Are they going to attack you?
Oh my God! They put their hands over your eyes from behind. Yeah.
Wait a minute. That's real. There's actually a service that will drive you over.
Hold on. Let me Google this. Give me some off. One second.
Come on.
Well, give me some off.
It was forever ago, and it was a Yugo.
I hear your voice in my head. There's a bridge staff. They'll drive your car across. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Jesus H. So much happening in one. Yes.
Sorry. They'll drive your car across for you. And it's $10. Yeah. So that's it.
If you're a dude, it's got to be $50 though, right? Like, there's no way if you drove that far and you pay someone to drive you across.
Well, here's the thing: it's a long bridge, and I get maybe on an icy day or if there's not bad visibility or
then I'm not going.
Right, but there are bridges that are scarier than the Mackinac Bridge where you feel like, man, is that railing high enough? Why are we there are I've been on a few bridges where you're like, I do not love this, but yeah.
Sunshine Spartan Graham, when in Marquette will you baptize Cora in Lake Superior?
Pretty quickly. She handled it was supposed to be her first Great Lake, and we were at my in-laws in Muskegon, and we mistakenly took her down to the beach. We were like, you leave their road, and it's like you can choose to drive 7 minutes the other way to the state park, or you can head home. And we thought, what's a few extra minutes?
Yeah, why not?
Huge. It cost us an extra hour and a half because it was windy. The air was bad. We ran her out there and dipped her toes in, took a couple photos.
Jesus.
she was just melting down in the car the whole way. So we paid for it for like 2 hours on the way home. We had to pull over at one point. Then I wanted a coffee, so we stopped at a McDonald's, and she felt the car stop and then melted down again because I couldn't not have a coffee. And so, yeah, it was kind of a disaster. But we will do it because the house is right there where we stay in Lake Superior, and pretty quickly she will, and we'll, I try to do it when I know she's going to melt down anyway. So we'll do it when she's unhappy. And then she'll just
Can I be there
unhappy.
when you tell her that you dipped her feet in, like when she's like 19 or something?
Sure, yeah.
I just want to see her reaction.
We'll still be alive then, right? You and
I hope so.
Yeah, okay.
You will.
Yeah.
Sunshine Spartan, are you taking over or under 3.5 wins on the Spartans this year? Oh, come on.
I'm not taking either, but I would say...
What about under 3.5 wins, but a win versus Michigan?
The odds of that are pretty slim. I would say if you can find 3.5 still out there and you're going to pay juice, it's probably a good line. There aren't many sports books you'll see that, and you will have to pay a premium for sure.
Sunshine Spartan, Jason, what did you think of Ryan Fox winning the Open? Well, I obviously think a lot of him because I was happy for him, even though I didn't bet him. So that means it makes you know that if you don't put it, I lost a lot of money. If Ryan Fox did not win the Open, I think I would have won a decent chunk of money. But Ryan Fox winning it, gutsy win, played his ass off, birdied 18. I just watched a documentary about him yesterday. His dad was like a rugby legend, and great-grandfather was a cricket legend. Like, they're just, he's from New Zealand. New Zealand looks awesome, by the way. I would love to go there because it's kind of like there's, everybody is like kind of normal there. It's like a different vibe in New Zealand. Ryan Fox, good guy.
Yeah.
I was really happy for him. Polish Sparty's morning crew next. Are you really going to vote for Eli Savit? Can a true Spartan really look past what he did to vote against Doug Lloyd?
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I mean, he's running for Attorney General, and I think it's going to hurt him. I don't know what. I haven't looked really at the state of the race here, or even looked in. But I just can't imagine that his name is known for one thing, right? And that's it. The only reason you know Eli Savit, until now, is that. And so I think MSU fans are going to struggle with it. I really do. It's a negative.
Frank Vachner next. I have reached the point where if the Detroit Red Wings pulled a Baltimore Colts by relocating to Atlanta, I wouldn't give two shits. This organization has zero hope.
That's a dead inside place to be.
That is dead. Yeah. I can understand that, but that's wild that you would say that.
Because you've never actually been there with the Lions, where even
if they move, okay, he's saying it differently. But if they ended up moving, like the Bears are doing to Indiana, but still claiming they're in Chicago, fuck them.
So, say the Lions went to Toledo. Would you be done with them?
I'm out.
Yeah.
And I have to start reading the Toledo Blade.
Because, by the way, Chicago to Hammond is as close as Detroit to Toledo. It's same distance.
Yeah, but it doesn't count. I mean, it's still, you're out of the state.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we talking about here? Skiles, long pinky fingernail next. Le'Veon Bell just got arrested again. From holding out in Pittsburgh to multiple arrests. Is he the worst decision maker, former MSU football player ever?
Boo Thompson. Didn't he throw a guy off a roof? I mean, he was in a.
Well, you pushed the guy down the stairs.
Nah, we're going to stop. Nah, different. Oh, we did. Cody Tucker went and did the story on Boo Boo, right?
Amazing story.
Yeah, great story. Sitting across from him.
Absolutely.
I would say.
Tweet that story out again.
Hubert Boo Boo Thompson. Cody he could get anybody to talk to him. He was just, we talked about each having a few skills. Cody's great skill was like, he was gruff. His voice. Do the Cody. You can do a Cody Tucker voice.
Hey, let's go down the street and get some grub.
Yeah, there you go.
You'd always call food grub.
Yeah. He can sit across from
I mean, he's still alive. I'm not talking like he's passed away. But,
right.
Still. Yeah. Skiles, long pinky fingernail. I just rode in a car made by something called Dong Thing and a model called Nami. What's the weirdest car you've ever been in?
You ever been in a really weird car?
I'm more intrigued by what the hell Skiles, long pinky fingernail. Like, why were you in that car?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, I can't beat Dong Thing. What could I possibly say? Like, what car have I sat in? Like,
I know I've heard some stories on the beat from like, you're in Chicago and you think you're going out for the night and you wind up in a car with like Hondo and Ebling and you're in the back seat and all of a sudden you're, in a different state and whatever. I've heard those sort of stories.
Who? What?
I think Charbonneau has some from like early days on the beat. I'm trying to think of the weirdest car I've ever.
Well, that's like a car ride. He's actually like a model and make a model, you know.
Right. No, but I see. I totally misread that.
Did you see what the question was?
Yeah, sorry. Now I do. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
You're just thinking of whatever car ride.
I was thinking that right away.
I got to say, coming back from Big Ten Media Days with Ebling, I thought he passed away. I looked over and he was chin down in his chest. I took a picture, sent it to T. I go, I think he passed away. I swear to God, that man could just sleep whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. And
so that was the weirdest car. Well, actually, stout farting and not rolling the windows down. That was the weirdest. If we're just going to go weirdest car rides. With his whole family in there, too. He hotboxed not only me, his family. I was sitting shotgun, family in the back, by the way, which is awesome.
Beautiful.
Clint, one ball Baney next. When you think of the quintessential running back number, which one comes to your mind first? To me, it will always be 34.
Yeah, 20, 33, 34. It's those numbers, right? I mean, those are. Do you have one that's different than those?
I mean, why wouldn't it be 20?
Yeah, it's Barry. It's
right?
20. Yeah.
Clint Baney. How did Poon Tang do during Moneyball this summer? I didn't see many press clippings on him.
Yeah, he's been out with a Liz Frank got him and he had surgery, and so he's been out this summer and not participating.
Good one. Clint Baney. Is Le'Veon Bell the first ex-pro player to be arrested at a football card signing?
Can't be.
Come on, Le'Veon. Pay to baby mama.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, the best thing for the NFL with Le'Veon is that he also got into mixed martial arts for a while, so nobody can.
And at OnlyFans.
Right. So, but I'm just saying his decision making.
Look up his OnlyFans.
His decision making can't be blamed on his football career. I'm saying.
Sweet Lou Graham, did Spiro have you listen to recordings in case something happened to him during the Michigan investigation?
There are secret files. There's all sorts of stuff. If he disappears, then there's all sorts of triggers and emails that get sent automatically. Yeah. No, we sat down and
Matty B. Horace, did you think in any blue wall criticism MSU fans were worried about how the Detroit News covers the House of Representatives? That's the investigative journalism you think we want? We want to know why Jeff Jackson has Ward's car and why no one asks follow-up questions.
This is part of the reason we're falling apart as a society. It's what we actually want. Nobody wants the vegetables. They want the sugar. You know, it's just what it is. Yeah.
Matty B, is Wojo serious? You'd prefer to see the report. Jesus, Bob. And what's with all these national writers all of a sudden going, man, this is bad? Where have you guys been? You enabled this. You brushed off their cheating as no big deal, and now you've joined Planet Earth?
Yeah. Like I said, just ignore the national media largely. If you do that, life is better.
Matty B, do opinion sections get looked over by an editor? Because between Nolan Finley's boner for MSU, that Caitlin Clark article from USA Today, ooh, buddy, opinions should be earned. How does Clark even want to stay in this league?
You should have editors who, and I don't know what happened with they obviously issued an apology with the Nancy Armour. That's what it was. Right?
Oh, yeah, with the Emmett Till thing?
Yeah, it's not great.
Jesus.
Yeah.
She apologized?
Sort of. It was kind of a half apology. Yeah, no, we have fewer editors than we used to, but we do have editors, and like I don't. There are things that I post before an editor sees them, but it's only supposed to be a few minutes before an editor back reads it, and that's like 3 quick takes on an MSU basketball game. But that's because they trust me on it. If I started making Emmett Till references in my 3 quick takes, let me tell you whose stuff wouldn't be going up before an editor looked at it. Yeah.
Chris. Now that Ward is done being a scandal sponge for Michigan athletics, what was your favorite controversy during his tenure? There's so many wild choices beyond Signalgate, like the Jeff Jackson car accident, the lack of vetting before Shemi Schembechler hire, or Jawan threatening to kill Turgeon.
It's the Jeff Jackson, right? It's
I don't know. The Shemi thing was pretty funny. Jawan threatening to kill Turgeon. I mean, come on.
There's some. Yeah.
Turgeon had a punchable face, so he kind of backed Jawan on that. Jeff Jackson car. I mean, that's pretty cut and dry. I mean, you saw the video, right?
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't know if I have a favorite. I don't sit at home and go, ooh, but
top 5.
Yeah. That'd be actually of all the lists and bullshit that people do during the summer. Hey, top 5 freshmen ever play at MSU, Hey.
What year are we going to go back to, Graham?
Yeah. Top 5.
Excuse me, Horace Graham, couch.
Top 5 controversies at Michigan, or top 5 unsolved mysteries at Michigan. It'd be a good one to do.
Next.
Hey.
Ward Manuel. Exxon Valdez of Southern Maine next. Will you task Nolan with attending an MSU softball game this season? This has to be the season for MSU softball, right?
I don't know. I don't know if there is. I mean, I hope so because it's been
probably
rough to
get there
watch.
2 hours late.
What are you talking about?
Have you seen the Instagram page? I mean,
yeah, but he's always here on time on Monday.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah. Couch on fire. Couch on fire. Did you have on your bingo card Lee and Outman hitting key 3-run homers in back-to-back games?
I did not. Nope.
I had James Outman. Yeah,
that would be amazing. If you did, you would have done well.
Like, fuck this team. I was like, oh, James Outman. That's exactly how I went. Couch on Fire July special. Jason, did you know that prescription drug that Graham loves the songs for also has a warning that loss of lower limbs may be increased and, of course, death?
Is that Jardians? Yeah, I love that. It's good stuff.
I got type 2 diabetes, but I manage it well. I just want to punch all of those people in that commercial.
Not me. That's great.
The guy that's on the movie set or the commercial set, he's holding a boom mic, and then he has to hand it. Like someone's holding his boom mic, and then he gets on a seat.
Like, couldn't Lee Greenwood have at least done that? I mean, think about "Proud to Be an American" as a song.
Chad Lass could do it.
Anybody, but "Proud to Be an American," if it had that jingle to it, would have been way, way better. "Proud to be an American" and da 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 da. We'd all be into it, Instead, it's awful.
No, because there's still anal bleeding at the end.
But I'm talking about "Proud to Be an American." Use the jingle from.
Timothy, next. Did intern Nolan sleep with Jason's wife or something? Dude has been talking about that Instagram thing for like a week. We had all moved on, and then on the show yesterday, Jason talked about it for like 15 minutes. All week? You moved on, Timothy? Everybody that moved on? I brought it up for like 2 minutes, you penis. Yeah, exactly. My wife, yeah. I slept with my wife, and I was like, man, how am I going to get this guy back who slept with my wife? I love this show so much. Jake Hoggins, why did the MSU basketball game at Tennessee get put on a Tuesday in November?
Because why not? I mean, it's done for TV.
Because they knew you wanted to go, Hawk.
Yeah.
And they were like, what day of the week could we put it on where the Hawk couldn't be here?
Yeah.
And they were like, Tuesday.
Yeah, weekend would be nice, but you're still talking about football season. So you're not going to have MSU Tennessee on a Saturday. It might be like a Sunday, and you go down to a Tennessee football game and stick around or something, or Friday night would have been cool. But yeah, no, it's all for television.
Next one from the Hawk. With natural grass being such a popular talking point item, do you think NFL stadiums will change over to it? And what is it going to take for NFL players and their union to achieve that?
Well, it's going to take, and there is some data on this, but further and further data that even the very much improved turf is nowhere near as good for the long-term health of people as grass. And because then it really shows you're doing it for the price, right? You're putting a price on people. And I think at colleges, like if I were at Michigan State or a lot of places that still have grass, I would try to use this to my advantage. Especially if you can show that evidence. They don't care if you have CTE. They don't care if they don't care if you develop this or you tear up your knee. And look, the data may not be that concrete, and obviously most places have gone to turf because turf's gotten a lot better, and it allows you to have lots of events. And I understand that at like high schools, you're able to play a lot of different sports at one stadium because you're not trying to keep grass up, and that's more expensive. So I understand why they do it, but that'll be interesting. And the Players Association would have to me, really demand it in the next CBA and fight for it, and probably give something up else for it. I don't know what that actually.
It'll never happen.
Yeah. And one thing, Jake, your previous question about MSU Tennessee basketball, the schedule putting together is a puzzle, right? And they got other commitments, other days, and other things. The week before, I think, is the week after. One of the weeks right around then is the Champions Classic, so you can't, but that's a Tuesday too. But then you have weekend commitments, and you don't want to play two back-to-back behemoths all the time. You kind of want a game against you want to be at home if you can on a weekend. There are all sorts of reasons these things happen, but they did not do it to screw you. But I do feel bad because it would be a really cool road trip if it was on a weekend.
People are nuts. I'm not nuts. They're nuts.
Next one from the Hawk. Do you think the USA men's soccer team will ever win a World Cup final or to a semifinal?
Not in our lifetime. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That ends it for me.
Yep. There you go.
Jake, what grade would you give North America for hosting the World Cup this year? I'm also wondering why Canada and Mexico were also included. Why weren't all host stadiums within the continental United States?
Well, that was part of the deal. I mean, why weren't they all in Mexico or Canada? I mean, and the Azteca is a cooler stadium than anything we have here, and their stadiums are actually in the cities that they say to be in. Not the Meadowlands and Santa Clara, and I mean, but for the most part, there are things that we did really well, and I think we were very welcoming. You hear good stories. I didn't love that some countries, a lot of the African nations, couldn't get their people here. Visa problems. I didn't love the pricing. I thought that was absurd. That's a FIFA issue. But a lot of foreigners, I think, really enjoyed their time here, and for a country that takes a lot of shit, and some of it rightfully so, for the way we've treated our allies and compatriots and friends and all that stuff. I think getting to meet real Americans is probably healthy for most of the world, because most of us aren't that bad.
Upper Deck Jerk Guy. Where is Scooble pitching at the end of the year? If the Tigers, where is he pitching next year? Gives a shit about next year.
Dodgers.
There's gonna be a strike, so no season.
Dodgers, nowhere.
Oh, you think he's gonna be traded this year?
Yeah, I do.
Cool. Jerk Guy. What's the worst place you've had baby poop on or in?
You babysat your nephew. What's the worst that's happened to you? Anything?
What the fuck is this? I don't have a child. Okay, yeah, I didn't change diapers, dude. What are you, crazy?
My wife had
waited till my sister got home.
My wife got some poop on her face at one point. I have not had it that bad. The only bad one is when she poops while you're changing her. That's bad. That's not great. That's never fun. But it's never.
Wait, did you say your sister had some on her face?
No, my wife.
Oh, your wife.
Did I say sister? No.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's so much poop talk. It's just driving me insane. Man. Jerk Guy. Have you ever watched Pesapalo? Do you think it could catch on in the U.S.?
All right, hold on. I'll Google this.
Porn.
I ride through the city's backside.
Come on.
See the stars come out of the sky.
Let's go green. Go God.
All right, it's a fast-moving bat and ball sport that's often referred to in the national sport of Finland. Hold on, here's a video of it. Oh, it's 3 minutes. Oops.
It looks so good tonight.
Watch the whole 3-minute video.
It looks kind of like baseball. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things like team handball. I think if team handball got a fresh start, if everybody had to start anew, I think team handball. This looks actually fun as hell. Yeah, I think absolutely.
Is it like the Savannah Bananas?
No, it's like real. Yeah.
And finally, from the Jerk Guy, did you know you can't clench your butthole and cough at the same time?
I did.
Yeah, he's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanted us to do
totally
that, didn't you?
It.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh,
guy.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Better go.
We appreciate all of you guys for producing our show, as always. Our thanks to our friends at Groovy Donuts. If you want to improve your weekend, improve any weekend, if you're going to a gathering, if you just, need something to munch on that makes you feel good and brings joy into your life, GroovyDonuts.com. 2 locations, Lake Lansing Road and East Lansing, also in Williamson, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m., Thursday through Sunday. Also, our friends at Firekeepers Casino and the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. Download the app today. You'll enjoy the sign-up bonuses. Look around. Start to think about those Week 1 NFL and college football bets. All good stuff there. We will be back Monday, and I think we'll do this again. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Roof.